Genesis 38. The altar for burnt offerings. The workers made the altar for burnt offerings out of acacia wood. It was 4 feet 6 inches high and 7 feet 6 inches square. They made a horn stick out from each of its 4 upper corners. They covered the altar with bronze. They made all of its tools out of bronze. They made its pots, shovels, sprinkling bowls, meat forks, and pans for carrying ashes. They made a bronze grate for the altar. They put the grate halfway up the altar on the inside. They made a bronze ring for each of the 4 corners of the gate. They made poles out of acacia wood. They covered them with bronze. They put the poles through the rings. The poles were on 2 sides of the altar for carrying it. The workers made the altar out of boards. They made it hollow. The large bowl for washing. The workers made the large bronze bowl and its bronze stand. They made them out of bronze mirrors that belonged to the women who served at the entrance to the meeting tent. The courtyard. Next, the workers made the courtyard. The south side was 150 feet long. It had curtains that were made of finely twisted linen. The curtains had 20 posts and 20 bronze bases. The posts had silver hooks and bands on them. The north side was also 150 feet long. Its curtains had 20 posts and 20 bronze bases. The posts had silver hooks and bands on them. The end was 75 feet wide. It had curtains with 10 posts and 10 bases. The posts had silver hooks and bands on them. The east end toward the sunrise was also 75 feet wide. The curtains that were 22 feet 6 inches long were on one side of the entrance. They were hung on 3 posts. Each post had a base. Curtains that were 22 feet 6 inches long were also on the other side of the entrance to the courtyard. They were hung on 3 posts. Each post had a base. All of the curtains that were around the courtyard were made out of finely twisted linen. The bases for the posts were made out of bronze. The hooks and bands that were on the posts were made out of silver. Their tops were covered with silver, so all of the posts of the courtyard had silver bands. The curtain for the entrance to the courtyard was made out of blue, purple, and bright red yarn and finely twisted linen. A person who sewed skillfully made it. It was 30 feet long. Like the curtains of the courtyard, it was 7 feet 6 inches high. It had 4 posts and 4 bronze bases. Their hooks and bands were made out of silver. Their tops were covered with silver. All of the tent stakes of the holy tent were made out of bronze. So were all of the stakes of the courtyard that was around it. The amounts of the metals used. Here are the amounts of metals that were used for the holy tent, where the tablets of the covenant were kept. Moses commanded the Levites to record the amounts. The Levites did the work under the direction of Ithamar. Ithamar was the son of the priest Aaron. Bezalel, the son of Uri, made everything the Lord had commanded Moses. Uri was the son of Hur. Bezalel was from the tribe of Judah. Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, helped Bezalel. Aholiab was from the tribe of Dan. He could carve things and make patterns, and he could sew skillfully with blue, purple, and bright red yarn and on fine linen. The total weight of the gold from the wave offering was more than a ton. It was weighed out in keeping with the standard weights that were used in the sacred tent. The gold was used for all the work that was done in connection with the sacred tent. The silver that was received from the men in the community who were listed and counted weighed 4 tons. It was weighed out in keeping with the weights used in the sacred tent. It amounted to 1/5 of an ounce for each person. It was weighed out in keeping with the weight used in the sacred tent. The silver was received from the men who had been listed and counted. All of them were 20 years old or more. Their total number was 603,550. The 4 tons of silver were used to make the bases for the holy tent and for the curtain. The 100 bases were made from 4 tons. Each base used more than 75 pounds of silver. The workers used 45 pounds to make the hooks for the posts, to cover the tops of the posts, and to make their bands. The bronze from the wave offering weighed 2.5 tons. The workers used some of it to make the bases for the entrance to the tent of meeting. They used some of it for the bronze altar for burnt offerings and its bronze grate and all of its tools. They used some of the bases for the courtyard that was around the holy tent. They used some of the bases for the courtyard entrance, and they used the rest to make all of the tent stakes for the holy tent and the courtyard that was around it.